Transformation Possibility, the Waribashi project, was a project I did in collaboration with Design Festa, an arts organization in the Harajuku area of Tokyo, Japan. Through the Waribashi project, I collected over 15,000 used disposable chopsticks from 11 downtown noodle stores and restaurants over a period of 12 days. I think I was most astounded by this one figure from a 1994 survey that showed that Japan was using 150 million disposable chopsticks every day. And, you know, I was thinking, that is just an enormous amount of wood, you know, every day. Well, it actually turns out that the amount of disposable chopsticks that are used in Japan and around the world is much greater than that initial statistic. And I found more updated information about chopstick use. I think that, from what I was reading, China exports about the equivalent of 14 million trees to Japan every year. And if they continue that, in the next 10 years, China will be deforested. So there's some major environmental issues involved in having this practice of using disposable chopsticks. The first statistic, the 150 million chopstick statistic, that had a huge impact on me from the beginning. So even though now I know that the real number is much greater, that first 150 million chopsticks a day was astounding. Well, I only had about 5 weeks in Japan, so I didn't have a lot of time to sort of let those ideas percolate. I really had to sort of get on immediately onto study and then figure out, you know, some sort of timeline where I would be done and have some kind of show. And I started off, I think, also by thinking about just, I mean, the whole process of preparing these materials was washing and in this tiny little sink, you know, using a hose and a bucket and dumping out the wastewater, and then stacking these chopsticks on paper towels, or I don't think it was paper towels, it must have been paper, or just like on the benches or something, anywhere where they would dry. And then just watching the pile get bigger and bigger and bigger and trying to think about what I would do with them. Then I started these small little stacks of sculptures, just based on whatever material that I had. And as the material kept coming in, Daisuke would, you know, be hauling these bags from all these restaurants every day, and I would wash them and dry them and stack them up. And as each day went by, the stack got bigger and bigger, and then my sculptures got bigger and bigger, and then I would play with, you know, I remember one time where maybe for about an hour or so I was just throwing them on the ground just to see how they would sound. And actually the sound of the washing and the sounds of them falling on the ground ended up being integrated into the installation. I think I was also considering the season, the rainy season, the idea of this rain coming down in sheets, and that chopsticks were kind of like that for me. It was just this continuous, like, stream of wood. And so the sounds represented that to me, I think, that stream of pieces of lumber processed down to these little sticks. And just the idea, it's just like a straight path towards the landfill.